Did you know that according to the Federal Trade Commission, food and beverage companies spend $1.8 billion each year marketing food brands and products to children as young as 2 years old? As a current physiology student and someone who is actively learning about what factors contribute to public health, I've done some extensive research on how marketing influences children's choices and behaviors when it comes to food. These ads impact all of us by contributing to the rising rates of childhood obesity in the United States. With this, we're seeing an increased prevalence of chronic health conditions like type 2 diabetes and heart disease. To combat rising childhood obesity rates, the government needs to impose more strict regulations when it comes to marketing unhealthy foods towards children. Today, I'll be discussing marketing's impact on kids' food choices, the current regulatory gaps and policies within our country, the social obligation and responsibility food companies should play for their consumers, and finally, I'll touch on the nutritional inadequacy of school lunches in America. Let's start by looking at how food ads actually influence the choices and even behavior of kids. It's a well-known fact that marketing directly shapes kids' food preferences and choices, often creating bad habits that can last a lifetime. According to research conducted by the University of Connecticut, over 80% of food ads that target kids promote fast food, sugary drinks, unhealthy snacks, and candy. Along with this, they are paired with bright, flashy colors, catchy jingles, and animated characters, all of which are tactics specifically designed to engage youth viewers' attention. We all know the familiar mascots like Tony the Tiger, Captain Crunch, or even the leprechaun from Lucky Charms. Kids have an inherent trust and love for these characters, and they see them as fun and exciting, making them more likely to want these products over healthier but less flashy alternatives. To make things worse, young kids are often unable to differentiate between advertisement and entertainment when viewing ads alone. When they see their favorite cartoon character or mascot promoting the snack, they're more likely to nag and beg their parents to purchase these products when going out to supermarket and other stores, leading to unhealthy food choices within the home. Brand loyalty can even begin at a very young age in childhood, which can last into adulthood. An example of this is how a child could be exposed to the repetitive and bold nature of fast food ads, such as McDonald's. This will make them more likely to choose these establishments when going out to eat as an adult. This shows marketing's strong influence on children's food choices and preferences. But shouldn't there be regulations in place that are meant to protect these kids? Let's look at the current regulatory landscape in the United States and why it still seems to be falling short. The regulatory policies and food marketing towards children in the United States is limited and largely voluntary. This is because the industry self-regulates through something called the Children's Food and Beverage Advertising Initiative. As this is only an initiative, it only provides a rough guideline for companies to follow and also contains many loopholes. Despite any effort to make changes in marketing towards kids, these ads are still easily able to reach their target audience, especially due to handheld devices and digital media. As kids have more increased access to things like smartphones, tablets, and even laptops, they're more easily exposed to these ads without parental guidance. An example of this is how YouTube uses its specific algorithm to play videos targeted at kids while promoting advertisements of fast food and sugary drinks. Not only this, but the food and beverage industry actually carries heavy political power and can lobby against any disadvantageous or healthier nutritional policies for children. This has happened in the past as they intensively lobbied Congress in opposition to a potential change and model that would have shaped the future food preferences of children in the United States, contributing to a decline in childhood obesity. With this strong power, this has sculpted a political landscape where unhealthy food marketing continues to thrive with minimal oversight from regulatory bodies. This isn't to say that regulatory reform is impossible and can't be achieved, as some countries have already taken stronger stances on the subject. For example, the United Kingdom prohibits advertising junk food to children during TV programming and cartoons. This is a simple step that the US can do and should follow suit in. Some countries are even banning fast food marketing to kids altogether under the age of 13 years old. And furthermore, some are even prohibiting the use of toys or cartoon characters when promoting unhealthy foods, as well as making more clear labels to educate the population. Clearly, more robust policies are necessary, but what role do food companies have in these regulations? Companies need to have an ethical obligation to consider, especially for the public health impacts of their products, before prioritizing profits. Food companies know this, but they also recognize that appealing to the youth customers can secure lifelong consumers. According to Healthy Food America, when companies target kids, it undermines parents' efforts to teach their children good eating habits. It encourages poor nutrition, which can lead to obesity, type 2 diabetes, and other chronic health conditions. These marketing tactics by companies, it's not just about selling a product, it's about shaping an entire generation and ensuring financial stability for years to come. Moreover, many food companies actively target children with unhealthy products despite knowing the long-term health risks associated with such foods. In recent years, we've seen an increased rise of the consumption of sugary drinks within children. A simple thing like drinks can contribute heavily to the rising rates of childhood obesity in the United States. By prioritizing profits over health, these companies are extensively contributing to the childhood obesity epidemic without considering any moral obligations for our children, undermining public health initiatives. Beyond company responsibility, the inadequacy of school lunches also has a role to play in this. Many school lunches that are offered are high in calories and low in nutritional value. According to the USDA, it's reported that over 80% of schools serve lunches that do not meet the nutritional standards recommended for children. Something as basic as recommended nutrition standards not being met in schools is a major problem. Without access to nutritional meals at school, this makes children more susceptible to be drawn to these unhealthy options that are being marketed to them outside of school facilities. Put simply, regulating advertising food products to children could be a decisive step in combating childhood obesity in the United States. Today I discussed marketing's role on influencing children's food choices, the current regulatory gaps and weakness when it comes to advertising food to children, the moral obligation companies should play for kids, and finally I talked about the nutritional inadequacy of school lunches and how that plays into rising rates of childhood obesity. Along with this, as food processing continues to grow with technology, we should be really mindful of how this affects the future health of our country, and especially the vulnerable children. If we're serious about reducing childhood obesity rates, we must demand more strict regulation from the government on marketing unhealthy foods to children. A healthier future for kids depends on the choices we make today. So I think we should choose to advocate for policies that put their well-being first and increase the health of our society.